Hello and welcome to today's broadcast. I'm Davina, thanks for joining me. And today we're going to be talking about Ginni Thomas, Justice Judge Aileen Loose Cannon, and Hurricane Ian, a little climate change, and the history of Republicans finding phrases and words to use repetitively to denigrate and disparage Democrats, and how we need to do the work to come up with catchy phrases to help spread the word, to help clarify in people's minds the risks posed by Republicans getting any kind of a majority in the House or the Senate. Because if they get to appoint more judges, we will have further examples of the types of corrupt shenanigans that occurred today, as little as an hour ago, when Judge Cannon ignored the special master's orders. And the special master is a Trump request from a shortlist selected by Trump and his lawyers, which included Judge Deary, that the Department of Justice agreed to, and he made certain conditions for Donald Trump that he had to disclose or assert in court his claims about whether or not he declassified certain documents. He had to assert specifically what he was claiming the FBI planted. In other words, he had to throw down with some actual details and assert in court under penalty of perjury some truths. He had to say some facts about the nebulous claims that he feels happy to make out of court on Fox News, to Hannity, to his followers on his own social media network, Truth Social. So I also said we're going to talk about Ginni Thomas, and Ginni Thomas is the wife of Justice Clarence Thomas from the Supreme Court bench, and Justice Clarence Thomas neglected to disclose his wife's income, hundreds of thousands of dollars paid to his wife and her consulting firm for clients in cases that have come before the Supreme Court. That's very corrupt. But I heard someone today describe the Supreme Court as having a porous system of ethics, i.e., it hasn't been formalized very thoroughly. They just go, if you made it to the Supreme Court bench, that's a good enough marker of morality and ethics. We're sure you will adhere to ethical standards. We don't need to codify it for you. We don't need to have any form of enforcing those ethical boundaries. There doesn't need to be any system in place. Now, as we can see, you need to codify systems of ethics because people of poor conscience gravitate towards honor systems and take advantage of them. And in this case, Justice Clarence Thomas has hid his wife's income, which is his family income, has hid all of those hundreds of thousands of dollars paid by wealthy clients to his wife's high-powered consulting firm. Her name is Ginni Thomas. She also wrote emails to legislators in Wisconsin and Arizona, asking them to effectively overturn the results of the 2020 election, to argue against certifying the results of the election in those two respective states, and to use any means at their disposal to challenge the legitimate results and thereby overturn Biden's victory, because she was so keen, so very keen to have, I guess, white supremacy furthered through the person of Donald Trump. But I'm not just here to make assertions, I'm here to bring receipts. So let's look at some receipts about the various topics I've just introduced. First, this is a temporary tangent that we have high job growth and remarkable demand for labor, because the jobless claims, let's have a look at this graph, they are beginning to fall again. So the downward trajectory of this slope at this point from August and September, this is good. US initial job claims are going down, indicative of an economy that has a lot of strong things happening. You might not know, but the US dollar is much stronger than other currencies at the moment around the world. Why Jerome Powell, the leader of the Federal Reserve, keeps taking advantage of the Biden administration to push interest rates up to try and force a recession, ostensibly to address inflation, but they kept interest rates very low under Donald Trump and continued that pattern for the first year after his removal, 2021. And now they're flipping it as if inflation has to be brought down at all costs, ignoring the downsides of continuing to raise interest rates, which is people, particularly at the lower ends of the income scale, are being hit hard by the increasing cost of basic items for utility bills and food and daily consumption requirements. So you keep pushing up interest rates, and people are going to be really struggling. So high income earners and people with high levels of discretionary income won't be squeezed as hard as people on the lower rungs of the socioeconomic scale. And that's cruel, and it doesn't even really fix the problem. You can't say I'm inducing a recession to fix a problem, because really a recession is the problem. Do you prefer the problem when you started yourself? Anyway, if other people have opinions about the Federal Reserve Bank and what they should or shouldn't be doing, feel free to chime in. This is some footage of this Category 4 Hurricane Ian. Oops. Turn the sound down. Oh, how is the sound going? I just realized I've been using my laptop microphone rather than my normal microphone. Frightful sound. I'm going to pause it and just point out that the increasingly warm temperatures of the ocean, the increasingly warm, moist air, those are two of the contributing factors towards the development of of more intense weather events. And this is certainly a very intense weather event. And I think people might be more receptive to the message that climate change is a growing problem, that global heating is global overheating, and inflicting a sharply increasing number of these type of events on the world we're leaving for our children to inherit is not the best idea, but that the Biden administration is taking steps to address it, and we need to give him 2 more senators in the Senate, and we need to allow the Democrats to keep and expand their House majority in order to have a world where our children's ability to live in a functional civilization is maintained. We owe it to them. We owe it to each other. For even for now, we owe it to the people who live on coastlines, who live in potential paths of hurricanes, whose lives will increasingly be upended by severe weather if we fail to take adequate levels of action to transition to energy sources that aren't fossil fuels. We need more wind energy, more solar energy. We need investment in battery technology. We need to keep marching forward with the march of renewable technology progress. And We need to get comfortable caring about that and passion matching the levels of enthusiasm amongst fascists who are fueled by enthusiasm for a false narrative relating to a mythic past of American glory and perfection and exceptionalism, when reality is more messy than that. And we need the courage to accept messy reality, the messy reality of people being able to be gender fluid now, in the same way that women can avail themselves of IVF treatment if they're infertile. People can be fluid with their gender. It doesn't make the world substantially less safe because there's never been a bouncer outside a bathroom. So if you want to go to a toilet, you can, if you've got the strength and determination to go into a toilet. A public toilet. If you want to stay safe in a public toilet, you're just hoping that there's nobody in there of bad intentions and that there are enough witnesses around to deter anybody from doing the wrong thing. But denigrating and stigmatizing people from trans groups, transgender groups, or even gay people, and calling them groomers and pretending that groomers and pedophiles aren't predominantly found in positions of authority within well-established institutions like the church, Boy Scouts, Orthodox churches of different religions, teaching facilities, anywhere where there's authority, people will gravitate to an honor system where it's assumed that they're doing the right thing and they can count on their position to deter people from checking their behavior or trusting children who call them out for inappropriate behavior. So pedophiles occur anywhere where there are inadequate levels of skepticism of adult intentions. So you just got to be a little bit skeptical, a little bit open to listening to children. That's the true way to protect children from groomers and pedophiles, not giving in to fascists who want to encourage buy-in to the dominance tactics of finding groups to stigmatize and attack and to make everybody enjoy a sense of unity, or to create a sense of unity amongst their followers in the joys of jointly disparaging a vulnerable group. Yeah, so that's all from me today. I'm going to head out. Thanks for listening and take care. Take care, all the best. Did I cover all the topics that I was going to talk about? It seems likely that the Russians sabotaged the Nord Stream pipeline. Oh, Alyssa Slotkin gave a speech that was important. I might listen to it very quickly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There's been a lot of talk on the other side of the aisle, and I want to be clear. No one in this room is in the judicial branch, and no one in this room that I'm aware of is a medical doctor. If you believe that the provisions that the VA has put forward have a legal problem, you have the right to take up that case and put it through the courts. We are the legislative branch. We make laws, we pass laws. We are not judge and jury. Take it to a court if you're concerned. That is your right. In terms of making decisions on behalf of women, if you want to take a veterans bill and make it about abortion, then let's do it. What you are saying, and you're saying in front of the American people, is that you believe a veteran who has been raped, who is the victim of incest, and who is having a dangerous miscarriage does not deserve access to abortion. You are saying, unless you correct me and tell me what you believe a woman deserves to have when she has been raped, the victim of incest, or is in the middle of a dangerous miscarriage, if you can't state it, then be clear you believe in no exceptions for women, a cold, heartless, violent approach to women's health. You want to ban all abortions. That is your goal. Many of you have been open about that. And if you flip the House, we know that you will put forward a full ban on all abortion for all states. You've been clear about it. You want to turn a veterans bill into an abortion bill. Let's do it. Not one of you are a medical doctor. Not one of you. What the VA guidelines say is that if you've been raped or the victim of incest or a medical professional deems that your pregnancy is a risk to your health, the one of 4 women in this country who has had a miscarriage. Medical professional deems that your pregnancy is a risk to your health. The one of 4 women in this country who has had a miscarriage, probably many women in this room, that you are a better judge of who gets to decide the future of their life and not a medical doctor? Who do you think you are? You are politicians. We are all on this floor elected officials and not medical professionals. If it was your wife, your daughter, who is suffering through a miscarriage, are you going to tell her she can't until her fever gets high enough, until she's bleeding harder? That's what's happening in the state of Texas right now.
This is true.
If that's what you want for veterans, shame on you. Shame on you. I'm sorry. We built this bill to be bipartisan. I sought your support particularly, sir. And you're making it a political issue. Shame on you. You all have pictures of veterans in your office, proud to show your pride in our veterans. It should be the most bipartisan issue in the world, and you're making it political. Shame on you.
Good use of the word shame, because shame is sometimes the only way to help people feel intensely enough to change their position if their position is untenable and actively is hurting others. So thank you for your comments on the broadcast. Cheers, everyone. Bye, and tune in another time if you enjoyed the broadcast. Take care of yourself and each other.